We have 3 exciting stories for you to watch, so be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell to remain ahead of the competition. Welcome to Grand Prix, your go-to channel for the fastest updates in Formula One. Let's get started. As you are likely already aware, a new technical directive that might append the Formula One grid will be introduced at the forthcoming Spanish Grand Prix. The update focuses on the front wing flexibility tests, which will now be far more rigorous, eliminating the so-called flexi wings, which have been the subject of increasing debate in recent races, is the FIA's unambiguous objective. Although these components have technically remained legal up until now, complaints from rival teams, most notably Red Bull, have pushed the FIA to take action. Up until now, these wings have complied with all required assessments, but during races, cameras and data seem to show noticeable flexing that gave aerodynamic advantages, especially on straights and in cornering stability. McLaren and Mercedes have been among the main teams accused of abusing regulatory gray areas by designing wings that pass all static FIA tests but appear to behave differently under race conditions. The FIA will implement stricter procedures starting in Spain. There is now far less tolerance for wing movement during these testing. Any vehicle that goes beyond the new thresholds will be deemed non-compliant and, as a result, cannot compete. According to F1 analyst Paolo Filicetti, Red Bull and Ferrari stand to gain the most from this adjustment, which might have immediate repercussions. During the 2023 Singapore Grand Prix, Ferrari specifically tried to use a flexible wing, but the solution didn't work as planned, so the team decided to keep improving their car without depending on wing flexibility. This puts them in a good position because their aerodynamic balance hasn't been reliant on the type of front wing movement that is currently prohibited. McLaren's usage of sophisticated wing flex techniques has been heavily credited with their recent gains. With a new rule in place, their car has demonstrated remarkable straight-line speed while maintaining great cornering capability, a balance that many believe is made possible by these dynamic aerodynamic components. Experts point out a specific concern with the car's rear end stability as the front wings become more rigid and less able to adapt dynamically to airflow. McLaren and Mercedes may have trouble changing their setups, which could affect top speed, overall drag levels, and most importantly, the delicate aerodynamic equilibrium of their vehicles. Teams will need to start over in order to come up with solutions that keep the car balanced and controllable under the new restrictions, because the increased front-end downforce may push the car's nose down too much, which would raise the rear a little and lessen the effectiveness of the ground effect produced by the rear floor and diffuser. This could lead to unpredictable handling and a loss of rear traction, which is particularly concerning on high-speed circuits like Barcelona. Since Red Bull and Ferrari don't depend as heavily on flexible front wings, their setups may need fewer tweaks than those of drivers like Max Verstappen and Charles Leclerc, who may acclimate to the shift more rapidly due to their driving styles. However, the true test will occur. Although some analysts anticipate a reorganization of the current hierarchy, others think the adjustments would only produce slight gains and losses, fractions of a second every lap that, in such a cutthroat sport, might be crucial. Red Bull's Monaco Grand Prix weekend was anything but perfect because the circuit's twists and turns revealed obvious flaws in their RB21 as they struggled all weekend. Despite his best efforts, Max Verstappen barely managed to rank fourth, a result that brought attention to the team's persistent problems on tracks that require better curb control and a more aggressive driving style. The fact that these restrictions remained in place even after Red Bull brought a significant update package to the car raised expectations that the changes would help them catch up to their competitors, particularly in low-speed situations. However, the car continued to exhibit discomfort during qualifying, requiring drivers to exert all of their performance, especially over the curbs. This has become a pattern on tighter tracks and raised significant concerns about the RB21's actual competitiveness. What does the team have to say about these persistent problems? The RB21 hasn't been fully fixed, but there has been a lot of improvement since the season began, according to team principal Christian Horner. He stressed that the car no longer experiences the aggressive bouncing or porpoising that beset it the previous year, and that it performs noticeably better on high-speed circuits where aerodynamic efficiency is more important. In this regard, McLaren has done an impressive job of creating a well-balanced car that excels on various layouts. In contrast, the RB21 remains more comfortable on fast-moving tracks and still struggles in tighter, more technical layouts, which has proven to be a fundamental trait of the car's design despite these challenges. Horner clarified that Formula One cars are not built for a single type of track, but rather are developed to perform consistently across a wide range of circuits. Red Bull is fully committed to the current concept and will continue to refine it throughout the season. Horner made clear he is hopeful that the upcoming race in Barcelona could provide a turning point because of the unique features of the circuit to Barcelona. The club is optimistic that they can have better results because Catalonia should fit the RB21 better than Monaco. Barcelona will also. Horner expressed cautious optimism that a change in the competitive hierarchy could result from the implementation of a new FIA directive that aims to reduce the flexibility of front wings. If other teams, especially those that use more flexible aerodynamic solutions, find it difficult to adjust to the new regulations, Horner hinted that Red Bull might benefit from these changes. According to Horner, the modifications may allow Red Bull to resume more consistent competition for race victories. In the upcoming races, do you think Red Bull will be able to recover and regain their winning form, or do you think the problems are more serious and could hold them back for the remainder of the season? Let us know your thoughts on Red Bull's prospects moving forward. Brought to you by motorsport.com. The hope is that as the calendar shifts to circuits better suited to the car's strengths and as the team continues its development path, they will be able to challenge at the front once again. Make sure you subscribe and enable notifications if you don't want to miss any of the action. For a while now, the paddock has been a hive of speculation around Max Verstappen's future. Will he remain at Red Bull or will he make a spectacular transfer to another team like Aston Martin or Mercedes? We have daily content covering everything that matters in Formula One. According to the most recent information published by motorsport.com, Verstappen has acknowledged that there is uncertainty and hasn't ruled anything out in a number of recent interviews. He has stated that his top priority is having a car that can win races and compete for world championships. But if Red Bull is unable to supply that, he is open to exploring new opportunities. According to rumors, Verstappen's contract contains a special clause that could enable him to leave Red Bull in certain situations. As one might anticipate, the clause is dependent on performance. If the car doesn't live up to expectations, it loses its ability to compete. Verstappen has the choice to leave before his contract expires, but things get much more intriguing. From here, according to Motorsport, this condition has a time frame and is not open-ended. The upcoming races are crucial not only for the championship but also for Verstappen's career path. If he finishes the weekend at least 50 points ahead of Charles Leclerc, he will mathematically guarantee a top 3 standing through June, locking himself into his Red Bull contract, at least on paper, until 2026. Verstappen has until the end of June to exercise this option, and if by then he is still ranked within the top 4 in the Drivers' Championship, the clause becomes invalid unless he decides to break his contract and pay a significant penalty. Even though Formula One contracts are legally binding, they frequently allow for some flexibility when both parties wish to change. If Verstappen really wants to leave, Red Bull is unlikely to force him to stay. But the clause's existence does demonstrate that Verstappen has given careful thought to his options, and that Red Bull is fully aware of the pressure to produce a car worthy of a world champion. This dynamic adds even more intrigue to an already exciting season, as new regulations are on the horizon and important figures like Adrian Newey are leaving. Red Bull's ability to maintain its dominance is seriously called into question. Verstappen is aware that this keeps all options open as we wait to see how the team positions themselves going forward as well as how well this car performs. What do you think? Will Verstappen remain devoted to Red Bull until 2026, or will we soon see him wearing different colors? Share your thoughts in the comments section. Your opinions are what make this community so wonderful.